Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Episode number 126, and we've got a lot to talk about today. Now, sometimes we have main segments for like top fives or top tens or, focal points of something. This is one of those weeks we just have a lot of little news bits here and there, a couple of topics, things that are happening, some good, some bad, some sad. So we'll get to all that in just a few minutes. But, Jen, I have to ask you first, how did you do Disney this week?
I have spent this week Disneying by planning ahead for our December agency retreat. So I have gotten a few exciting things that I'm not going to divulge yet.
Fun. Well, okay, so it's just you and me. I have turned the recording off. Nobody's hearing this. So what's happening? Do we need to know what's going on?
So
where
I'm not
meeting?
gonna. I don't want to tell anybody, but
Okay, I'm ready.
I kicked
Listen.
David Dollar out of the fam. So
You kicked me to the Grand Floridian. Is that where you're putting me on the Grand Floridian? Thank you, Jen. That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, that is good because I was at Pop and now I'm at Grand Floridian. You know what? And our agent Cliff is with me. He'll be very appreciative of that. I'm gonna take.
So you're welcome.
Hey, Clint. Just so you know. So speaking of the fam, and of course we will talk about this as we're leading up to it because it's a big trip. It's fam trip means familiarization trip. It's a travel agent term that's basically a couple of days that the agency comes together. Unlike the 1st of October when it was all voluntary, people were like, let's just come together and meet and get together. We talked about that a few weeks ago over the hurricane, but this time the agency's coming together. We're doing some resort tours, some learning, some, maybe a seminar or two. You're going to take us all to the Victoria and Alberts, which thank you, Jen, for that. That's what I heard.
This.
That's what I heard. Anyway, so my trip coming up, of course, that's we've talked about this previously, that my family was like, well, we'll go too. I'm going to be with the agency doing agency things. They're like, well, that's okay. We'll do other stuff while you're doing that. My mother-in-law's coming, my father-in-law's coming, the wife and the kid, they're all coming. They're staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge. I'm like, well, I'll be at Pop Century. I will see you before the trip, before the fam, and after the fam. But there was one night, the 29th, when I had to have a room because Pop didn't start till the 30th. And I'm like, well, let me go get a room. So I found one online, Pop Century. Wasn't the same category, but I'm like, maybe they'll let me move into a preferred because if I do values, I do preferred. I do not go to a standard. I'm too good for that. And so we go to preferred always. But, and Jen, you can attest to this, and I think anybody who's a travel agent will attest to this, that we are our own worst travel agents.
100%.
We put so much care and like love and devotion into clients' trips, making sure their trips are perfect. We spend hours on the phone and online, and we're all constantly messaging each other, going, "Oh my gosh, I can't get this to work for this client. I'm so unhappy." Blah blah blah. For ourselves, horrible. For instance, I forgot to put the deposit down from a Pop Century. Guess what? It's gone. So a week later, I'm like, all right, well, All Star Music is available. I'll get that. That's fine. It's All Star Music. I'll just transfer over to Pop Century. Guess what? Guess who forgot to put the deposit down for All Star Music?
Oh my gosh! Why didn't you put the deposit down when you booked it?
This guy.
Why didn't you put the deposit?
My card's downstairs.
Oh my
late at night. I'm like, you know what? I'll knock this out real quick and I'll take care of it tomorrow. Forgot. So 2 or 3 days ago.
You have paper all over your office.
Well, no, I actually went to look for my
All
Star Music resort reservation, and I'm like, where is it? Oh, I didn't put the deposit down. Darn it. This does not happen with client trips, just mine. And so 3 days ago, I went online to look. I'm like, I got to get this room. I got my card in hand, ready to go. Jen, the only thing available is Port Orleans Riverside, which I love Port Orleans Riverside, or All Star Sports. All Star Sports was legitimately $110 less for one night, and I'm like, I cannot justify spending an extra $110 by myself at a moderate when I could because all I need is really somewhere to sleep, throw my luggage in, take a shower, hit the parks the next day by myself, and then my luggage will transfer over to Pop. So I'm going to be at All Star Sports. Now, I have heard I know they're refurbishing the rooms. They're working on them.
I know they're working through them. Yeah.
I don't know how far along they've gotten. I don't know.
No idea.
I don't know which rooms have been
I
done.
don't even know it
haven't-
exists. So
Well, they did. Well, okay, pretending this exists. They did a light retouch over the summer where they replaced the linens and the mattresses and the soft stuff or whatever. And we all thought it was like, okay, we're getting queen beds now. We're getting hard floors. Nope, no, none of that, none of that.
No.
Now, I've stayed at All-Star Sports before. It's fine. I've been spoiled on the new versions of the values where you got the hard floors, the Murphy beds, and the nice desk and the USB ports. Sports is not like that. It is the last bastion of the old resort room era of Disney is sports. And so I will be going to a sports room for one night because I am my own travel agent. Had I had to put a deposit down, $15 more, could have said All-Star Music with their nice.
I need a personal assistant.
So I really do. I really do. So it's a little ridiculous, but that's all I Disneyed. I put my stake into All-Star Sports, and I will be there for the night. Now, anybody staying at All-Star Sports, by the way, it's not a terrible resort. It's not a bad resort at all. I've been there many times, and I actually don't mind going. It's just a funny story because I've been trying to avoid it forever by staying at Pop, which I love Pop. Here we are at All-Star Sports. So not cool. Not good at all. So we got a little news we're going to get to, and not a ton of stuff here. Well, I say not a ton of stuff, and then we end up talking for 30 minutes about the news. But we'll start with Disney World. Of course, we got the notification that, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on this because we all have strong feelings about this, and we all expressed our feelings online yesterday. I read through the reviews, and it's one of those stories that you get the whole. I put up a post on one of my Facebook pages, and I was just waiting for the comments to come in, and some did. The Walt would be spinning in his grave comments, and they're pricing people out at whatever. All those, I get that. I hear all that. Agree or disagree, whatever. Genie Plus, which has until now been $15 a day per person. Before you could add it on previously added onto your package plus tax. So it comes out to about $17, $16.50, $17.
16 something, yeah.
Something like that. And so previously, up until about early June, you could add it on your package. So if you booked a trip in May, like I had plenty of trips booked last May for coming up in December and everything, added on your package, even even to late December and the first 1 or 2 days of January. So it's added on. Perfect. Got it. They've already paid for it.
Right.
They took that part away. Well, now you have to add a day of, which was kind of a hassle, but at the same time, it kind of helped me because I wasn't having to tell my clients, yes, you must get this. No, you don't. I was just able to advise them, okay, these parks, those parks, that kind of thing.
And at the time, I think we discussed it because it's to help the product itself work better, because there were rollout issues. Okay. Like secret, there were rollout issues with Genie Plus.
Correct.
So that was
rollout there were and there are rollout issues.
Yeah, but that seemed to help alleviate a little bit of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
So anyway.
They hit us with this yesterday morning, kind of in an early morning email. Hey, guess what, guys? It's going down to seasonal pricing. Now, that means it's no longer 15 days per person per day on the regular. It might be 17, it might be 20, it might be 22. This morning it was 20. It was $20.
Yeah, it was 20. I read this morning.
If you look on the app, and actually you can look on the app at 12:01 midnight Florida time. So if you're deciding not sure if you're going to get it or not, and you're still up, look on your app at 12:01
Eastern time.
It's Eastern time. It's a busy day. It's going to be $22 per person. I don't know if we're going to get it, or it's only $16 per person. Let's go ahead and knock this out real quick, so you can make that decision for your family. I'm not going to tell you what. And one of the things I hate doing when I'm working with families is I don't like it. Well, I don't say I don't like when they ask this question because this is a natural question. They ask my recommendations. Would you purchase this? Would you do it? And I'm like, I travel so much differently than you're going to travel because I've been there. I've done these different things.
Right.
You have not. That kind of thing. Is it worth it? Is the other question. And my answer to that simply is whether it's the Savannah rooms at Animal Kingdom Lodge, whether we're talking verandas on the cruise ships, is it worth it? Most of the time, I will tell you, if you're comfortable spending the money, yes. Or I will simply say, I don't think the money's worth it at all. Is Genie Plus worth it if you're comfortable spending the money? I think it is. Personally, I think for Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, I think especially for Hollywood, which has like 6 major attractions.
Oh gosh.
I think it's a big deal. Magic Kingdom also for
Magic. Yeah.
Magic. Exactly. So, but now you have to look at
I find it works well at Magic personally for me.
I think it does too. Because you're able to get a lot of the smaller rides because
agreed.
Sure, you may not be eager to go, I'm going to do a Genie Plus. It's 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm going to do a Genie Plus pass for a Lightning Lane pass for Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. Well, you know what? You can get in there right now, or you can wait the 20 minutes in line. I'll let me go get it right now. I'll knock that out as soon as I get in, in 5
and then
minutes,
get a new one. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So, but it has increased in price. Now, other things that have increased in price as well. Savvy's the lightsaber workshop's gone from $219 to $249.
Mm-hmm.
The droid workshop went up to about $120. The refillable mugs at every resort went up to about $21.99, and the capture your moments went from $79. That's the personalized photo session.
Yes, 15 minutes.
79 to 99. Exactly. Is it 15 or 20? It
Oh,
was
wait.
20.
Maybe it's 20.
It was
No,
20.
I'm sorry. I'm
I think
sorry.
it's
I'm
20.
sorry. I think it's 20. I'm sorry.
20 for up to 8 people, which they do all kinds of really, really fun things and everything. With you get your own PhotoPass photographer for 20 minutes. You kind of specify the location for the most part. You can kind of tell them kind of basically what you want to do. It's a really good thing for groups and stuff. So obviously people are like, oh my gosh, Disney's increasing prices. First of all, you and I both knew this was coming. There was no way it was going to save $15 a person.
No possible. I mean,
no.
I think I'm surprised it didn't shift sooner. I think my only surprise was I did not think it would go variable. I thought they would keep it.
Right. And that was the thing.
flat.
I would think they would just go up to $20 a day per person.
Because that's
Here's
what
the
Disneyland
problem.
was.
Yeah. Now, here's the problem besides the pricing. Obviously, okay, so I have twofold, and you can kind of respond to this however you want, or throw your own in there as well. Twofold. Number one, I think there is a case of, and Disney, I know some people from Disney listened to this, there is a nickel and diming perception that's happening with Disney. And I think Disney has to be really careful with this, because rather than just saying, you know what, we're going to increase the ticket prices by $10, by $15 across the board, everybody has to pay more.
Which does typically happen every fall.
Which does typically happen.
For time immemorial, since they switched from the
usually
ABC
it happens.
tickets.
Yeah, in previous years, it's happened in February-ish, early March-ish, up until COVID. COVID has kind of thrown everything kind of out of whack, and we're still trying to figure out the trends.
We've gotten some fall ones too, though. Maybe I'm thinking of Universal.
Increase the price, or increase the resort fee, or something like, or not a resort fee, but increase the resort cost just a little bit, and that way you're not hit with, oh, now we have to pay more for this particular thing. Because every time Disney goes after a particular service, whether you like the service or not, whether you agree with the service or not, Genie Plus or whatever, and raise the price on it, suddenly it's viewed as you're nickel and diming, you're increasing prices already. The problem with, and Disney knows this, I think, is that their brand is getting hit, because people are like, well, they're raising prices on stuff, and the service is kind of, depending on what's going on, you may have a service issue there. And so I think that's got to be something they're real careful with. The other problem I have with this variable pricing is now it's very hard for families to plan. If they had gone through and said, oh, you know what, now it's $20 across the board, at least families can choose whether they want to get it or not, but at least they know, okay, my trip's December 5th through the 9th. How much should we budget for Genie? Now we know it's $20 a person. We'll get it in these 2 days, those 2 days. If there was some sort of calendar, you could look online and say, okay, I see from December 5th to December 19th, it's going to be $17 per person. The 20th through 25th is going to be $25. At least you can plan for it. It's really hard for a family to go now. And because pricing started today, like absolutely today. It wasn't like a later on in the future thing. Like the new pricing started today. So if you're a family going the next few weeks and you've budgeted, you know what? My travel agent told me Hollywood and Magic, I need it for this. We're going to budget $100 for our family of 5 to do it every day. Oh, now it's $140 per day. I think that's a trickeration there that families are really gonna have to work around. And I think that's a disservice. I really think that. I think that there should be some sort of something where families can plan for this. Previously, we could add to the package, and we knew the cost of it outright. That's fine. You can't add to the package, and I'm actually okay with that. But I do think there's an issue there with planning.
Yeah, I think at this point, my suggestion is just plan it's going to be 22.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably going to be less. I mean, if you're going over a major holiday, it's going to be 22. I mean, it's just like, it's straight up. It's
they said 22 through the end of October. That doesn't mean it won't be higher. Like Christmas, I'm expecting 25 per person. Christmas week, Thanksgiving
and
week.
It could. Yeah. I think at some level they'll have to do a cap though. Like it's only going to be up to such and such, because let's even say the individual lightning lanes, which are also variable. Okay. That is some, I mean, ticket prices are variable. There is a calendar for that though. So you can see if you're buying standalone
the calendar,
tickets.
you can plan for that. Exactly.
But with the individual lightning lanes, it had always been up to 15 until Guardians, and then Guardians was like randomly 17, and that's the most I've seen for the individual lightning lanes. I'll be curious to see if that happens, and who knows if there is the pushback, maybe it won't go up from 22. In Disneyland, which of course California, higher cost of everything, because it's just that what it is. I mean, just literally, and it's LA, which is just extremely expensive. It did also go up to 25, but it stayed flat. I do not believe the Disneyland Genie Plus is variable. I think it's just 25 across the board, and you get
was 20 and now it's 25 per person. So.
That did surprise me a little bit, because I don't feel like the demand is out there for Genie Plus.
No.
because it's more of a
It's
local
not. And
spot.
Web Slingers is now in Lightning Lane.
Yes,
Web Slingers
and that
is no
was a
longer
good
an individual
change.
attraction. Yeah,
Yes,
I think
that's
so.
yep. I think that's a good change. I feel like that's the next thing that would need to happen is the individual lightning lanes are going to go away, because it's going to come down to I'm going to buy the Genie for the day, or I'm going to buy the individual lightning lanes.
Right.
Now, if I'm
Right.
going to go on the flip side of this could also help control the lines and, you know, the some of the complaints that there have been with Genie Plus, you know, like, because
Right.
people were complaining they were only getting what,
Lightning
2 to
lanes are
3
too long. So
Correct. Like it's too long. I'm only getting 2 to 3 attractions per day. Now, the way I use it,
Right.
I normally get 3 to 4 to 5, but I'm also not just going for the big tickets.
You're
You know what I
also
mean?
experienced as well.
And I'm
you've
also
done this many
experienced with it.
times.
If
Yep.
you're a first timer, there is a learning curve, and there's no way around it. Like until you're in there doing it. So just like
Right.
with anything, by day 2, normally you're okay. You're like, oh yeah, I got this. But you know, day
Yeah.
1 can be
Yeah.
a challenge. So there is that possibility. And I think, and we've both said this, when Fast Pass Plus came out, everybody hated it. And it took
Yep.
probably what, two and a
Yep.
half, 3 years before that settled out, would you say? I think
Well, it also took a while for it to start working correctly.
correct.
Once it was working correctly and flowing like 90% of the time, it was a great system. It really was a great system.
And people loved it.
So,
And now we're, I think, to the same thing. But unfortunately for us, we are at the more beginning phases. Genie has only really been around for a year. So, and there have been some growing pains. It did not roll out, I think, as smoothly as everybody had hoped. And so they did take the step to roll things back. I think that I do think this is another step in the process. I totally understand that it's not a popular step.
Right.
I think that this is another step in the process. I'm hoping that we will start to then see something good coming.
Right. Can I tell you what I think? If they did one thing, this would take a little work for Disney's part, but if they did one thing in particular, I think all of this bad publicity would really kind of lessen. And that one thing is simply bring back Magical Express, even in a paid version. Bring back a Disney bus version of Magical Express, because not only are you eliminating people having to rent cars, you're eliminating people having to go off to Mears or Sunshine or something not Disney. You're starting your vacation on that Disney bus. You're not having to take an Uber, which means you're stopping somewhere else, like at the store or Walmart or something, to gather all your stuff, the waters and things like that, which we do now, by the way. You're buying it there at the park. You're now not having to worry about renting a car to get from the airport to the resort. And also think, well, since we have a car, let's go down to Universal for the day, since we're going to have the car, because I've had clients do that as well. That one thing, I think you bring that back. You bring that courtesy back. You even make it free, or $10 a person, something very cheap. I know this would cost Disney a little bit of money, but the publicity for it, I think, would be tremendous. I don't now, having said that, I don't know how they do that. I don't know how soon they do that or whatever. But I think that one thing, starting your vacation off right, I think would be massive.
I think that there's way too many barriers for that, because the Mears parking spaces, those are Mears parking spaces. So there's nowhere for those Disney buses to park at the airport. So literally they would have to lease out something. At least that's my understanding from what I've heard. Also, it wasn't Disney's decision necessarily to end the Mears contract.
I know Mears pulled out.
Yeah, that was a Mears thing. So we literally can't we can't lay the blame there. We have to lay that with Mears. And then also just, cast members and bus capacity, that they're gonna have to purchase those buses then if they're gonna be Disney run buses. So I just
it would
think
be a little
there's
costly.
far
I get that.
too many,
and I don't
far
know
too
if
much
it's
of an investment that they're not getting return on unless they're charging.
Right. I understand that. I get that totally. But in terms of investment, there is right now for Disney, I think there is a high dollar on good public image, and I think they need that. And I think spending extra money on it may cost them $1 billion, or $500 million or $200 million. I don't know how much a bus costs. What, $3,000? No clue.
I think even extra magic hours. Bringing back the extra magic hours.
Bringing back extra magic hours.
I think
even
that
doing
would be
it
great.
and I think that would be for everybody. Or 30 minutes for maybe everybody gets in the morning. At night only deluxe or moderate or something like that. Make it an hour
and expanding that.
Right. And then I was thinking, like, if you did something where Magic Kingdom, you're only opening Tomorrowland and Fantasyland, just Tomorrowland and Fantasyland. And next time, maybe Fantasyland always stays open, but next time you do Fantasy and Tomorrowland or Adventureland and Frontier.
Well, it was always Tomorrowland and Fantasyland whenever it was really.
But
it was only those
night,
two
was
lands. Oh,
Are you
no, at
sure?
night. No, I'm
At
sorry.
night. I'm thinking at
At
night.
night.
I'm
Okay,
thinking
I'm
at
sorry.
night.
I was in the morning.
Right. And then on Hollywood Studios, maybe do it where it's Toy Story and Galaxy's Edge only, and then
For
a
the
couple of nights
evening.
later, Hollywood do it the rest of the park or something. Just or Star Wars, whatever. If you're afraid of opening the whole park, just open part of the park. Just giving the fans, the guests, something else to say. You know what? You don't have to pay for this because you're on site and you're our guest. We're going to let you ride Slinky Dog Dash like after closing, something to that effect. That's just Disney. Josh, I know you're listening. Come on, let's work on this. So, like you said, of course, Disneyland did increase their costs 20 to 25. Spidey's now in the Lightning Lane itself as well. But a couple more things in Disney World here. Of course, Holiday Remix is coming to Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Now, we were all theorizing, could it be a mixture of Bing Crosby and Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas? Whatever. No. One song. But they're going to do a mashup of different Christmas songs in that one song with some special surprises, they're saying. So we don't know what the song sounds like.
Okay.
But it will be the same song playing every single time. So you will hear that same song. So there won't be any more like I Need Disco Inferno, I Need September, I Need One Way or Another.
It's okay. I'm complete now.
I know your checklist is done.
So.
Your punch list is done. Thoughts and prayers for that. Good job on there. The American Adventure, which has been closed for a month or so now. Is reopening December 17th. So there is a reopening date. People will get to see that just in time for Christmas week. No idea yet on exactly what's been done. I think it's just an overall refurbishment. Of course,
I think
there was a small fire there, but
I don't know that affected it too much.
No,
but I mean, from time to time with all those
overall
animatronics, you have to do some things.
Yep. So they're going to be redoing that as well. So that's that. Also over at Disney World, we are hearing that Fantasmic is going to reopen in November.
Yeah.
Now, there's one particular Instagram account that I read. Disney has now given us the date on Fantasmic, and I'm like, I haven't seen this. Click on it, and it says, and of course, the article itself says no date is given, but we know it's November, and I'm like, clickbait. My favorite,
I fall for those sometimes too. I'm like, did I miss that? Like, shoot.
My favorite GIF from Mad Max Fury Road with Tom Hardy looking up at the person on top of the tower, shaking his finger. That's bait. that's exactly what that was.
Exactly what that was.
Curse you, bait. Curse you.
And you fell for it.
November, and I will be down there in that area the first week in November, and I'm hoping it's early November because I have a park ticket for a day, and I'm going to Epcot. I know that for sure because I want my Fry flight because I didn't get to do it in June.
I missed it
I'm not
too.
June. Sorry, in September when we went, and I'm blaming Kyla for that. That is her fault that I didn't get to do it. But I didn't get to, so I'm going to go for the Fry flight, and I'll do a park hopping stuff. And hoping I would love to go see Fantasmic that night. That would be amazing. Josh, get on that as well. Crossing over to Disneyland, Magic Band Plus debuting in Disneyland on October the 26th. Magic key holders, DVC members, and cast members will start using it on the 19th. So just a few days from now, they'll kind of get a preview of it. And by the way, Jen, did you know that your Magic Band at Disney World will also work at Disneyland? Take the same band.
I did read that, and I am very glad for that, actually.
Yes, me too, because I don't want to have to buy another one.
Well,
I just don't.
Which was like Disneyland, of course, it was always, I guess I never totally understood why Magic Bands weren't a thing out there.
Right.
I mean, I just never, I was like, I mean, obviously there's a reason and they operate differently, but I was like, why? Like, it's kind of easy. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you had the little key card. I had the Magic Band Plus for the first time in our trip a couple weeks ago, and I know you had it as well. And what was your?
I didn't have it.
I know. Oh, you didn't have it this time, but you've used it before, correct?
Magic Band Plus?
Yeah. Have you not?
No.
Okay. Well.
Oh no, I use my phone.
Oh,
I use Magic.
Well,
I use Mobile Magic for. I have plenty of Magic Bands, right?
Yes.
I've got a zillion. I always have one in my bag just in case, but I do tend to use Mobile Magic.
My honest assessment on the Magic Band Plus is it looks cool. I got no use out of it whatsoever. When I walked by a statue, it would vibrate sometimes. I would stand there and I was the door kind of waving my arm at the statue, trying to get the statue to say something. I would walk away and then I would hear like Dante from Coco, the statue kind of bark or something like that. Couldn't get it to work. Randomly on rides or walking through queues, it would vibrate. And I would look around going, what is vibrating? I don't understand what's couldn't figure that out. We didn't go to the fireworks, so I didn't get to see Glow at the show.
No, I did get to see that because I was with Agent Alexa.
Okay.
On the 40th. And it was cute. Like, what was interesting is like I'm watching her band, but I'm not always watching the show. So, but the band would light up, and it really did match. She took some videos. I think she put them on her Facebook page. But you know, the one actually, it was the Coco one was super fun. Like the band was like dancing. I was like, like
Oh,
kind of
fun.
yeah.
Fun,
So
fun,
I mean,
fun.
that was fun.
Well, it kind of reminds me the ears glow at the show with the ears they had a few years ago where
oh
people
yeah,
I
temporarily,
mean
I remember that.
people loved it, but people also distracted by it. They're like, I want to see the
Yeah.
fireworks and the projections, not like lights all over the place.
Right.
I didn't go to Hollywood Studios, so I wasn't able to use the Play Disney app
Mhm.
thing where you do the bounty hunter stuff. So for me personally, I didn't get much use out of it. This is something with real potential. They can really add a lot of things to this band, I think, all over the park.
And
But right now, if somebody's like, should I spend $25 on a band that I want or spend $40 on a Magic Band
Mhm.
Plus? I'm probably going to tell you to go with the regular band for right now. I think I'm glad I have a Magic Band Plus. I have one, and I'm glad I have it. I'm
Mhm.
holding on to it. I'm going to keep it. I might use it again in the future, but for my December trip, I'm going to order the All Star Band because they have
Yeah.
All Star bands available. Totally ordering that.
See, and for,
So-
for me, like I don't even spend money on bands anymore. Like I'll put that
Right.
money toward Genie Plus,
On your phone.
and then I will,
Mhm.
I'll just use my mobile magic. But like I know Heather's
Right.
girl, quasi producer Heather, her girls really
Mhm.
enjoyed the Magic Band Pluses because they liked interacting with the statue. That's something fun because
Right.
our family goes a lot. So
Right.
that was like a little
Well,
scavenger hunt sort of situation for them, and so that was. But so that's just
no,
very
that makes total sense.
yeah.
Total sense. I just
So-
couldn't get it to work. That was my problem. I just couldn't make
And
it happen.
I don't
So-
remember what Heather said the trick was because they had some hard times too. But I think she said like they found if they did something specific, like
Mhm.
it would work better. But I don't know what
Right.
that is. But
Right.
obviously,
Well, I mean, and
probably
there were-
some kinks
Yeah.
to work out.
There were people kind of waving their hands, waving their arms around. Oh, I was doing it. Stephanie was doing it. Just like we're like freaking out, arms waving all over the place, trying to get it to work, and it just wasn't working.
Although
But,
that happened too
the-
with the Blackbeard's, the Jack Sparrow thing, the Jack Sparrow
Mhm.
pirate.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think that's back. I saw people.
was that in
on
Hollywood? The one in Hollywood Studios, or the one in Magic Kingdom?
No, Magic Kingdom.
Okay, over by Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mhm.
The Jack Experience, blah, whatever that's called.
Where you would like do scavenger hunts and have maps
yes.
around the
Yep.
yes.
Yep. Yeah. So they're also, and I don't even have this written down, but I do know that coming very, very soon is the DuckTales Adventure at Epcot, which over the little phones and stuff, or you'll be on your phone, which is exciting. I think we talked about that last week. But
We
I didn't
did.
wanna
We
mention
mentioned it
'cause
last
it's
week,
coming.
but that
coming.
was cute. I mean, that
It's
was really
coming.
cute for
Yep.
kids.
Yep.
When it was agency or whatever.
January, kicking off the 100-year celebration. It
Mhm.
starts at Disneyland Resort beginning January 27th, 2023. Of course, Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway opens up over in Toontown at Disneyland
Yes.
on the 27th, which the queue is supposed to be interactive. It's supposed to be a really fun
Oh,
queue.
so
So I'm
cool.
I'm excited about seeing that. So when we go
Yeah.
into Disneyland Fam next year, which I'm sure you're setting us up for that, we'll go on that. Some of the things that will be offered starting on the 27th.
Mhm.
You're going to expect to see the Sleeping Beauty castle dressed in style for the anniversary. The castle adorned with elegant platinum banners and bunting, accented by a magnificent cabochon featuring the three good fairies who will illuminate it with their shimmering pixie dust. With two, not just
Ooh.
one, Jen, two majestic water fountains gracing either side of the moat, while a beautiful wishing
Ooh.
star sparkling from the tower above. All new nighttime spectaculars also coming. World of Color 1 will debut at
Mhm.
California Adventure, telling a new story of how a single action, like a drop of water, creates a ripple effect that can grow into a wave of change. It will also have a
Okay.
new song called Start a Wave. Over at Walt Disneyland Park, Walt's original Magic Kingdom will become a magnificent canvas with wondrous journeys, a new nighttime spectacular that will ignite the wonder in all of us. And as I read this paragraph, the only thing I can think of is that's what we should have gotten for the 50th anniversary last year instead of Enchantment.
But like we said,
am-
I think they learned.
Yes,
I think they learned.
We're keeping it positive, but Josh, if you're taking away anything from this, is the fact that Disney World is the cash cow. Why does Disneyland get all the good stuff?
Well,
Seriously.
listen, but they start the
Mm.
100 years of wait,
They do,
what are they
they do,
calling
and
it
they have
in March? What are they calling it?
Yes,
100?
well, in 100-year celebration. I'm not sure what they're calling it at Disney World. It might just be the 100-year celebration.
It might
honestly,
just be the 100 years.
celebration.
But
They're not.
But let's start that in World too. With
Yes,
the-
yes. We will get that in World. Also, in spring, the Magic Happens parade will have its long-awaited return to Disneyland Park. Magic Happens celebrates the awe-inspiring moments of magic that are at the heart of so many Disney stories. So they get that as well. Also, I believe that the reason it's not coming to Disney World in January, which makes total sense, is that we've got to finish our 50th anniversary
Oh
celebration.
yeah, it's because that was
That
running
ends in March.
Yeah.
And so my best guess is, and I'm not reading anything that says this, but my best guess is they're going to kind of give it a week or two after the 50th to kind of
Mhm.
remove whatever it is they need to remove, whether it's the 50th signs or whatever. I don't think they're going to remove the statues, although some
No, I think those are
like
gonna
the
stay.
Stitch with the 50th in his mouth may need to change to 100. I'm not really sure.
Hmm.
And then probably sometime in April, maybe even you know what? My prediction: the 100-year celebration for Disney starts on Memorial Day weekend at Disney World with the opening of Tron. That's my prediction.
But
is
didn't they already say it was going to start March 31st in Disney World?
did they? Okay, well that's my prediction. It starts March 31st and then Toronto Memorial Day.
No, I could be wrong on the date, but I
No,
could have
you could
sworn
be
it
right
said
about
March
that.
something.
I was thinking there would be a little time there, but maybe not. Maybe
No,
not. So
I kind of think
you're
that.
right
I think
about
it's going to
that,
be
so.
like an Epcot festival. I think we're going to just like.
We'll just edit all that out. So, as I was saying, it starts March 31st with Tron opening Memorial Day, as far as we know. Going on down the road now, well, actually, we're at Disneyland. So we come back across the country, down the interstate I-4 to Universal, where they were building, of course, Epic Universe. They're building a Wizarding World there. And we talked about this a few weeks ago, where we figured it was going to be heavily influenced by Fantastic Beasts, but they've kind of pulled away from that. However, some details have come out about the Ministry of Magic. They're calling it the Place Cachée, which translates to a hidden place. And I completely said that wrong because it's supposed to be French. C-A-C-H-E-E.
Cachet.
Cachet? Well, it's C-A-C-H-E with a little thing on top. E.
Cachet.
Is it cachet? I'm used to cachet having one E and not two. So, Place Cachet.
Well,
so
it depends on if it's masculin or féminin. So if there are masculine and feminine words in the French language.
I don't know
it's la, sometimes it's le.
I don't know if it's a boy or a girl.
If it's modifying a masculine verb or a masculine noun that it's got one E, if it's a feminine, it's grammar.
Whatever you just said, I go with that. So yeah, I tuned completely out for the last 30 seconds. So they were planning a broomstick ride, which was going to be virtual reality, which again, that's Universal where they do the screens and stuff. Well, it's going to have to be something like that. But I would imagine you would mount a broomstick and around you would be the screens and you're flying through whatever. I don't know that I would be looking forward to that completely because screens again, it's Universal, it's what they do.
I mean, not surprised, but there you go.
But they have changed that up. They've kind of put that on the back burner. Maybe if they want to do another ride, they can. But the thinking is they're going to call, and this is actually from a site called Screamscape, and they do reporting on rumors and reporting on big rides and things like that. The battle for the Ministry of Magic, guests will enter through a giant public Flu Network station. For non-Potter fans, Flu Network is how wizards will go from fireplace to fireplace. That's how they travel a lot of times. Throw the Flu powder in your fireplace, enter in another fireplace across town, into a large room full of fireplaces where you will be transported back to the Ministry of Magic, just the end of the trial of Dolores Umbridge. So we're taking back to the original, getting away from the Fantastic Beasts. Okay. So you'll basically going to the end of Deathly Hallows. And before Cursed Child, which I haven't read Cursed Child yet.
I have not read
sure
Cursed
that
Child.
I want to. I've heard various things.
Same. And so it's like, I just feel like it ended. Book 7 just ended nice. I mean, I was good with the end of book 7. I'm like, I don't want to mess it up, honestly.
It did. So you'll have lots of special effects, and yes, you'll go to the queue area for the ride. You'll see the statue of the Ministry of Magic and such. Guests boarding the ride, and again, this is all rumor and speculation, but this is what Screamscape is reporting, and I have no reason to doubt this because this sounds pretty plausible. Guests boarding the ride vehicles at magical elevators. They're described as kind of an updated Spider-Man style ride system where you kind of go up and down, back and forth, kind of to the platform. It's a vertical up and down movement, which can produce lift and dropping sensations. The loading station is going to be like a dual loading system, like Mummy or Green Gots, where there's like 2 different cars getting in. Okay. You go to the courtroom. The Death Eaters arrive and try to free Dolores Umbridge, but don't worry. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are quickly on hand to stop Dolores from escaping and getting her hands on a time travel device. So you'll battle Voldemort and so on. And of course, as the article ends, at the end of the ride, guests will exit through the gift shop. So, and you'll come back to the Flu Network, entering into 20th century Paris. So the whole area will be designed to 20th century Paris based on Fantastic Beasts. I'm guessing. Probably. The ride itself, they put this in here where you'll be going to the original Harry Potter storyline through the Flu Network and then coming back to 20th century. So they're like, we don't want to scrap all the plans we've made for 20th century Paris and Fantastic Beasts. Well, let's make the ride concentrate on the original stuff because that's what everybody really wants. So we'll do that. So,
all right. I mean, suspension of disbelief. We're good.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So there's our news and our big rundown of everything going on around the world. Last thing here, we do want to mention that yesterday. Okay, so Jen, I'm in my late 40s. And you are in your late 30s or early 30s, whatever you are. I don't know, mid 30s, whatever.
Or early 40s. But thanks, I will take late.
Something like that. But you and I think both of us can agree that when we were kids, we had our heroes. We had our heroes that seemed like they would live forever. And at that time, when we were kids, these heroes were in their 30s and 40s and 50s.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking not just Disney stuff, not just Julie Andrews and Angela Lansbury, but also the Clint Eastwoods, the Harrison Fords, the Tom Hanks, the Spielbergs. These are the mega stars of growing up. You watch these movies.
Yeah.
Well, Jen, we're now in an era in our lives when we're now losing our heroes.
I just
We lost Betty White earlier
Betty
this year,
White.
100 years old. I mean, I can't complain about that. It's sad to lose her, but that was a life.
Well, I mean, but also
you know,
impressive. Like
exactly. I don't watch the news obsessively over it, but every time I see Clint Eastwood trending, I'm like, oh, what's wrong with Clint Eastwood? Because he's 92.
right.
But
it is like
Harrison Ford in his late 70s, Steven Spielberg in his late 70s, Tom Hanks even is in his late 60s, early 70s. Steve Martin in his early 70s, Julie Andrews older now. And I know you will just be a sobbing mess when Julie Andrews.
You can't even talk about it. Like just literally, you can't even talk about it.
But yesterday we got the news that Dame Angela Bridget Lansbury, born the 16th of October, 1925, passed away in her sleep at the age of 96, just 5 years shy of 97 years old.
5 days.
One of the last surviving stars of the golden age of Hollywood. Numerous accolades, 6 Tony Awards, including a Lifetime Achievement, 6 Golden Globe Awards, an Olivier Award. She got an Academy honorary Oscar. She was nominated for numerous Emmys, numerous Academy Awards, Grammy Awards. She's one of the few handful of people, I know there are 17 that have an EGOT, which is Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. There are about 30 people that have nominations in all of them. She's one of the 30. She never got an Emmy, or a Grammy, unfortunately, but nominated for everything. She was, again, the golden age of Hollywood in the 40s. She was one of those last contract players when you had to sign a contract with the studio. Back in the 40s, I think she signed with MGM. She worked with the likes of Judy Garland and Paul Newman, Clark Gable, Ingrid Bergman, Katharine Hepburn, Audrey Hepburn, just such and such massive movies. Classics, of course. Bedknobs and Broomsticks is what a lot of people actually went to yesterday. Well, there are 2 basically that people refer to. One was Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Yes.
I've never seen it, and I'm making a point this week to watch it.
Oh, good.
Just to honor Dame Angela Lansbury.
I loved that growing up.
Okay.
I thought that was a great movie.
So Lansbury has been acting forever. I mean, she started she actually was working at a Canadian touring production like in the early 40s, doing like Broadway shows and Canadian plays and things like that. One of her first roles was 1944's Gaslight. Early on. She got married early. She was married for a very long time. One picture that I want to talk about, just briefly, 1962, The Manchurian Candidate. Jen, have you ever seen The Manchurian Candidate?
I've heard of it, but no, I've never seen it.
It is brilliant. It is a great film, first of all. Second of all, it's her playing a bad guy. She is in an evil role. She's kind of the controlling person behind. It's like a government kind of scandal spy thing where it's like mind control. Frank Sinatra's in this movie, and I think either he got a nomination or maybe an Oscar for this.
Maybe that's why I've heard about it.
It's she was nominated for a supporting Oscar. So if you want to see her acting chops, go watch Manchurian Candidate. It's black and white. It's classic. She is an evil woman in this movie. And
I can't picture her that way.
I know, right? She's young too, and she was gorgeous when she was young, by the way. She was a looker. She reminds me of I can't think of the lady's name, but played Old Rose in Titanic, and she's like looking at it going, wasn't I a dish? That was Angela Lansbury. She was a dish. Of course, as I said, Bedknobs and Broomsticks came along later. That's kind of where people know her. And then people really know her from Murder, She Wrote. And I think that is where everybody knew Angela Lansbury, because she was Jessica Fletcher. 12 years, 1984 to 96. I didn't realize it had gone that long.
I didn't know that either.
Episodes. Quasi-producer Heather made a great point. Of course, she was kind of the forefront of the murder mystery thing. People grew up with that, and now like crime podcasts are massive. Dateline has its own paid podcast program. You can pay $3 a month and get access to everything with no commercials. I don't pay it. I just listen to commercials and everything, but you get access to all of that, which is insane. And of course, she was Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast, singing the classic title song Beauty and the Beast. And now I'm just sitting here thinking of her tale as old as time, and just it's such a great song. I mean, such an incredible production. Now, I love the Peebo Bryson Celine Dion version.
Oh yes,
but just hearing her motherly tone, it's almost like you're laying in bed, you're trying to go to sleep, and grandmother's sitting beside you, just rocking in the chair, holding your hand, going, "Tale as old as time," and you're like, I mean, let's not talk about the fact that Mrs. Potts had like 9 children, and she only really favored one of them. It was almost like Joseph in the Bible. I expected her to.
For self-sufficient.
I expected her to give Chip like a Technicolor Dreamcoat or something, because he was the favorite, the only one that mattered. But she
needed help.
performed the title song, which of course it won the Academy Award for Best Original Song, won the Golden Globe, blah blah blah, and a bunch of other awards as well. So she was involved in all of that. Came back to film in 2005 with Nanny McPhee, which I've never seen. Does it bug you when you see Disney legends like Angela Lansbury and Julie Andrews in non-Disney productions?
It doesn't bother me, but it's like
Julie Andrews, why are you in Shrek? That's the enemy. What are you doing? So she was also in Mr. Popper's Penguins. She was in the Australian production, the stage production of Driving Miss Daisy, along with James Earl Jones. She's been in so many things. And of course, I remember sitting in the theater, and I didn't know this. I don't think anybody knew this. Julie Andrews had been asked about coming back to Mary Poppins Returns, and Julie had said she didn't want to because she didn't want to take away the spotlight for Emily Blunt. She was like, if I go there, people are going to talk about me and not talk about Emily Blunt, and they should talk about Emily Blunt, which is fair, which is great that she did that.
Yeah.
So at the end of the movie, in the role that Julie Andrews would have played, there's Angela Lansbury sitting on a bench as the balloon lady, and I think the whole theater was like.
I started crying. I was like, oh my gosh.
I mean, it was beautiful. It was wonderful. So Angela has been in so many things. Her voice has been in so many things. Broadway star, so many awards. She's one of those people that everybody likes. Like you can't find anybody that goes. I mean, there are even people that don't like Tom Hanks and people that like Steven Spielberg. Maybe don't like some of the stuff they've done, but everybody likes Angela Lansbury.
You can't hate on Angela Lansbury.
You can't. She's just so great, so talented, beautiful. Her voice was great, just all classy. So I'm going to cross her off of people we're going to try to get on the show because I don't think she's going to make it.
I don't think that's going to work.
But yes, she also received a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Actress in a episode of Law and Order SVU in season 6, and I think I remember that because I think I remember her being a bad person, like in that kind of an enabler to the bad person. So. Anyway, Angela Lansbury, you will be missed.
Yes.
And we love everything you've done. I'm going to watch again Bedknobs and Broomsticks this week. I think I'm going to try to rewatch Manchurian Candidate just to fill myself with Angela Lansbury's talent, which is so great. Jen, what happens when we lose Dick Van Dyke? Because
stop talking. Stop.
I'm prepared for the worst.
Shut your mouth. You shut your mouth.
Just saying, it's. We're losing our heroes, Jen. It's just sad. So,
I will cry.
Thankfully, however, the listeners of this podcast have got us another 40 years. We're young. We're going to be around. They're
not sick of us by then.
Episode 1074. I'm Dave, and this is Jen. Jen? Huh? What? I'm here. What? What are we doing? So... Have they finished Tron yet? They haven't finished Tron yet, but Bob Chapek IV is saying it's coming. It's coming. So, that is the Main Street Electrical Podcast. That is Jen. I'm Dave. Jen, where can we find you on the lines?
You can find me upon a star Jen or my personal Instagram at Jen_Novotny.
Perfect. You can find me, of course, on Facebook at Magic on $1 and Disney on $1. Find me on Instagram at the Magic on $1. And of course, find our show on all the Facebooks and the Twitters and the Instagrams and such. And find the agency Upon a Star Travel on TikTok, which is a fun little place to follow. At Instagram, the reels are great. And the reels and the TikToks aren't always, here's a place you should go to. Bye. It's a lot of fun stuff on there. Agent Meredith has done some great stuff.
She's done some wonderful things,
and some of it's hilarious. So she's done a lot of good work on there. So make sure you follow that on Instagram as well. So there we go, folks. I will see Jen probably sooner than later because we're always chatting. But we will both see you guys next week. And don't forget to thank your Phoenicians, R.I.P. Angela Lansbury, and the old cost of Genie.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.